Okay, and we are live. Hope we get some people tuning in here in a second. But one question, I know we were talking a while ago. I just want to know how do you actually pronounce your name? Is it Elena? Elena?
Elena.
Elena.
Elena
Okay.
Danan.
Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah, I was like, that was the one thing I wanted to ask you was how do you actually pronounce your name? So I didn't want to be calling the wrong thing the whole time. So it's Elena.
Elena.
Okay. Well, we have
Anyway.
Elena with us. She's all the way from Ireland. And I can't thank you enough for joining. I know it's late over there where you're at. It's actually midnight. It's tomorrow actually for us. So that's a bit of time traveling that we're doing tonight, also, I guess. Um, so, Elena, I know we've talked a little bit, not just online, but we actually had a pretty good little conversation before we came live. Uh, Tell us a little bit about yourself before we go into your story, if you don't
Yes.
mind.
So um, I am. I was born in France, and I live actually in Ireland. I am druidess, shaman, and archaeologist as well. That's was my first profession, and I've been confronted to paranormal all my life. Um, and I suppose tonight I'm going to share with you my stories of alien abductions. So here we go.
Yes, sir. So I actually saw on your profile that you were an archaeologist.
Yes.
Did that path result from your abductions, or that's something you were interested in anyway? I was just curious about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, I think it's independent.
Okay.
I was always attracted by ancient civilization mysteries. Well, I suppose it's somehow linked.
Okay. Yeah.
You could say.
I know some
Yeah,
people do look
yeah,
look into that to understand what's going on because that's one of the best ways to understand not just your present
yeah.
and your future, but to understand the past.
I because I spent many years of my life in Egypt working there.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so
Yeah, that's
yeah, I know another subject, isn't it?
yeah, yes. Um, so why don't we just get right into it? How old were you when you had your first abduction, and what was going on in your point in time in your life? I know you were a child, of course, but was there
Yeah,
anything specific that may have triggered this, or you were just a target?
I think it's a question of bloodline because my grandmother was abducted as well. She told me that, and so I think and my grandmother is as well a descendant of bloodline of people with special abilities, psychic abilities, shaman women from Scandinavia. So, and I've inherited as well of these abilities. So I think they pick up a certain type of bloodlines. Um, I had a memory when I was a baby, um, being abducted first. Um, there was a little gray alien who appeared in transparency through the wall, and I was very scared. And during the night, I was abducted, and I that was the only thing I could remember, this little gray coming out of the wall, and then my body being lifted above the cot, above the bed, in the air, and being paralyzed and frightened and then blank. So last year I decided to go for hypnosis, quantum hypnosis, and I got all the story behind that,
Okay.
um, which was, I'm going to go quick with that because it was a good experience. It was an abduction by good aliens, good greys, um, who are looking after me, after my family, after my bloodline. I think it's part of these programs I've learned that they have, that they pick up bloodlines and they enhance the DNA to make them more receptive to, I suppose, receiving enhanced soul or star souls or things like that. But that was my first um, memory. And these gray aliens who they are very, one in particular is very tall, is very nice, and is not an of the bad gray race. He's from very wise and pacifist and benevolent race, and so he is one of my protectors. um, I try to go fast because there's so much. So that was my first memory, and you see, that's not important in the story, although it's huge, but it's not. You don't know my life. So the real thing, the real deal was when I was 9 years old. I was looking at the window with my grandmother. That's when she told me everything. And this UFO came hovering above the roofs of the area, the district, and it was a disc, orange, glowing, very big, um, and I was mesmerized, and it was floating like this, moving a bit, not too much, and very bright. There was a little dome above and a dome under. And my granny said, "Oh, that's a ship from another planet." And I was 9. I went, "What? What is that? What are you talking about? Another planet?" And she started to tell me, "Yeah, there are people, living on other planets, and sometimes they come." And I went, "Granny, how do you know that?" And then she told me when she was young, a woman, she got abducted, and she doesn't remember that's what she said, too much about it, but she was walking outside, and there was this big silvery metallic craft coming over her, and this beam of light falling onto her, and she lost consciousness, and she woke up a few meters from there on the ground, and that's all she told me. So that's how I know that they follow my bloodline. So I was like mesmerized, and we were looking at the window, and suddenly the craft changed color. From orange, it went darker, darker, red, red, dark. And my granny said, "Oh, it's changing color. That means it's going to go." I went, "What?" And so it went. It was a bit scary, and then dark red, and it went white, very bright, and it just disappeared, for moving in a zigzag in the sky, but at mental speed. It went like like this, and disappeared. And it was like, wow. But what I remember is that when we were looking at it, there was a kind of a contact. Um, it was weird because I was looking at it, and I had this impression that it was looking at me. That was a consciousness in it that was in contact with mine, and there was kind of a connection that was really weird. And I woke up the following morning. That's all I remember before hypnosis, okay? I woke up the following morning with huge pain in my belly, blood all over the bed, and triangular markings on my inside of my wrists. And there was all this blood, and I thought I was going to die. I got up, I screamed, I found my mother, who was completely hysterical, seeing that. And when my granny saw that, I saw her, she put her hands on her face, and she started to cry. And she probably knew. I think my granny didn't tell me everything she knew. She passed away now. So they brought the doctor, and the doctor said it was early period, but I was 9. So it's weird, no antecedents in the family, nothing. So, and he looked at my wrist, and he was really weird. It's, I don't know what it is. I think he had to say something, so he said it's rubella, and but so they put me in hospital. I stayed in hospital 2 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it had to be the period. There was no other explanation. So to be sure, they gave me hormones, then really to start a cycle. But it wasn't period at the start. I tell you later what it was. Um, and I had as well this huge pain in my head, in my skull. They did all the scan possible, and they could never find anything. Anyway, when I'm going to come to the hypnosis, maybe maybe later, because
Okay.
there were other memories. Then I was 14, and I saw a lady, a blonde lady, appearing in my bedroom. She just materialized, and she was there, and she had a triangular face with blonde hair and big green eyes. She was wearing a blue suit. She was very pretty, not very tall. And this triangular face didn't seem really, really normal. It was like weird and scary, and these big eyes. And she showed me pictures. She showed the wall, and she showed me pictures in the wall. And I saw a pyramid with red lights flying above it. And then I saw a desert with buildings, but it wasn't then in Egypt. It was like, I don't know, it was a bit raining, and there was a valley in a rocky place, and buildings, but modern buildings, like army buildings,
Okay.
really, and with the road in between. That was very photographic. And she said to me to go to try to contact a person. I won't say the name. In Ohio.
Hmm.
Um, so, and then she disappeared. Turned out that recently, when I got back to this memory, recently, I was, because I started to write a book about it, and I did some researches, and turned out that the picture she showed me was a perfect copy paste of an aerial view of Area 51.
Oh wow.
And that's not in Ohio, of course, but in Ohio, there's Wright-Patterson Air Force, which is linked in many ways to Area 51. And there's this person who was working there at the time when this lady appeared in my bedroom. He's not working there anymore, this man. So, yeah, a bit shaky. So, all of this is weird. I've never tried contacting this person because I'm too scared. Um, so, that was it. And then I have another memory, and where they gave me, I mean, on board a ship, and they giving me that they're people, Nordic aliens, tall with blonde hair, big blue eyes, and they're showing me there's a kind of a table with a screen, the glass, and you see lines and dots, and it's really weird, and it's a map of the sky, well, space, whatever, and the one is showing me points on it, and then off, memory off, and then next memory, I'm in my bedroom on the floor, and I have a map of the sky that I had, and sticking stickers, gluing stickers on it as fast as I can before I forget. And this map, I I still have it, and I did a version, computerized version of it, and that I published in my book, and it shows many places where some civilizations are. So I did hypnosis last year, and well, yeah, last year. And what came up was when I was 9 years old, I was abducted during the night, that night where I saw this UFO with my granny. They came in my bedroom, the small grays. They took me. I couldn't speak. I couldn't shout. I was numb. There was this ray of blue light. We lifted up all together. They were holding me. We arrived in this ship. Um, they removed my nightgown. They put me on a narrow metallic table. The inside of the ship was very organic architecture looking, like all round, no angles, and like the furnitures were all part of the same thing. Um, it was very cold, super cold. Was shaking and couldn't move, and they did horrible things to me. They put this implant in my head. They put something in me. That's why all the blood afterwards. And it's very traumatic memories. And I was rescued. Suddenly, everything started to shake, and they became agitated. And the walls trembled. There was kind of vibrations, and there was kind of explosions, sounds of explosions, and they were very, very, very panicked. Oh yes, I had straps as well that they removed, and the straps that they put on me when they put it, it was like very hurting, and I saw in the corner of my eyes, they removed it very quickly. They wanted to probably to get rid of me. There were little needles in the shape of a triangle. So that's what was the markings. And I don't know, I suppose it was injecting a product because there was flexible tubes linking these straps to machines. And then the door exploded, and it was super, super freaky, super frightening. And these two guys came in, tall, very tall. They had kind of space suits with helmets. You couldn't see their faces. It was with reflections, and they pulled tubes from, I don't know, the pockets on their legs, and they start to shoot at them.
Oh
From
wow.
the tubes there was kind of rays, and in fact these rays, there was, to describe them, there they were like not biological entities, like a bit of artificial clones or whatever.
Okay.
They were just acting like it, and I really had this feeling there was no soul in it, no proper life in it. But I
Right.
was one who seemed to be like the chief of them. He looked really biological, a real extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
This one, he got strangled. One of the guys strangled him, and imagine me, I was 9 years old. I was lying on this table, and it was like I couldn't move. I was paralyzed and already terrified and in pain with everything that was happening. And then that, it was like, I don't know how I didn't faint or had a heart attack. It was like absolutely. Anyway, so they killed them all, and the guy who had strangled the small gray, he lifted me, and they got out of the room, and suddenly there was like this bright blue light. It was really weird. It was like if we were transported somewhere else. Um, it was buzzing and it was very bright, and suddenly the light just switched off, and we are in another place. And the first thing I noticed, it's warm.
Hmm.
The temperature is different. That's the first thing, because I was naked.
Mhm.
Uh, Temperature was different. It's warm. And this simple sensation of warmth just relaxed me inside. And what I see is they lay me down on, another table, and the ship is different. It's very bright, and there's a big, big window on the left, and there's two guys and a lady, and this is the lady who appeared to me later on in my life in the bedroom to show me all this stuff. Triangular face, blonde hair. So she takes care of me straight away. She had a cloth. She removed all the blood of me. She put her two hands on my shoulder, and she had kind of an energy who calmed me down. And I really felt safe. And it was like if she was telling me in my head without words. It was like a feeling, telling me this: calm down, you're okay now, you're okay, you're gonna be okay, you're fine, you're safe. And I really believed her. And then the guy who had saved me, he removed his. I know they removed their helmets, but I couldn't really see their faces yet. And he took his top jacket and he put it on me, on my body, to cover me. Um, and then I know they were talking telepathically and sometimes vocalizing a language, which was quite lovely, beautiful. And she started to look into my head where the implant was, and I couldn't see what she was doing in my memories, the hypnosis. So quantum hypnosis is great because you can get out of your body and look from above slightly. So I could see what she was doing. She had a oblong tool that she was putting on my head, and I don't know what she was doing, but she was trying to maybe probably get the thing out.
Mhm.
It was a tracker. Um, and then I fell asleep. I woke up again, and something was still quite not right because there was tension then in the ship. One of the guys was then I could see I could move better, and I could turn my head and see one of the guys was sat on one of the two seats in front of the window. There were two seats. You can see the stars behind the window. So there were two seats, and so there was a guy with long, very long blonde hair. He went to sit there, and I think it was the pilot seats, and my rescuer, the other one, was there standing next to me with the lady, and he had curly blonde hair, like short, like this, big blue eyes. They all wore blue uniforms with a metallic belt. Um, uh, and he was kind of arguing with her. Her tension was growing. It's like if he wanted her to do something, but she didn't want to, and I didn't know what was happening. So she finally did what he was telling her to do. She took other instruments. She put a small disc like this on my head, and it was a disc with like kind of symbols on it. I don't know. And she put it on it, and she put another instrument on the disc, and I felt buzzing. It wasn't really nice. And what I knew later, I'm going to tell you. So she did that, and then afterwards, the guy, my rescuer, is. I think I fell asleep, and I woke up, and he was beside me, and he was smiling and nice, and he has his hand on the jacket on me, and he spoke to me, and I could understand him, and I went, oh, I was wondering how I could understand him, and he said to me that I was safe, and they couldn't remove the implant, and that because they couldn't remove it, and it was a tracker, so they had to remove the signal because everybody would be in trouble. Uh, they retuned it to their frequency. They jammed it and they retuned it. That's how I could then understand them.
Okay.
And he said that they were going to bring me back, um, and that I will be all right, and they will look after me always, and I will be safe. And as he said that, I could see behind him the orb of the earth in the window, like this. I went, and then, oh my God, that's where I am. And then he put his hand on my head, and I just lost consciousness, and that was it. And then that's the rest of the story. I got up, woke up in my bed.
Mhm. Okay. Well, just some things that I wanted to mention. Like I said, I've been talking to other people also, and it's always good to hear. Um, I don't know. You'll say good, but it's nice to get some confirmation. 'Cause the people I've been talking to are here in the United States, and of course you're in Ireland. But some of the things that you mentioned were like the grays, for example,
Yeah.
them not necessarily being, like a life form.
No.
You know,
No.
more like I said, like something artificially made.
Yeah.
I've definitely have gotten
Yeah.
that also from these, from the other people. The bloodline, um,
Yeah.
the people that I'm talking to also, not only have they been abducted, but their mothers and the grandmothers, have been abducted as well. So that's like I said, that gives me good validation that there is something real going on, and it's not just people talking crazy or making up stories.
Yeah.
And then also when you talked about uh, the gray coming through the wall, he told me the exact same story also about the gray coming through the wall. It was when you told me that, I had to write that down. Um, did your grandmother ever say anything prior to this that even gave you
No.
any kind of indication? Nothing at all, right? Yeah.
No. No. I think my grandmother at her, you know, in her time, you wouldn't talk about these things. Um, nowadays, where minds are very open, and you have we have difficulties to talk about it. Imagine so many years ago, it was another world. You would certainly not talk about these things.
Can you read the question on the screen? There's a question.
Um, any bright lights being on the table, and did the air smell fresh and damp and temperature cold? Yes, the temperature was so cold. That's the thing. In the Gray's ship, the temperature was super freezing cold, and there wasn't bright light on the table, but above there was a round and a ring of white bright light, very high. In fact, this was a ring composed of different little lights, and it was like showering on me. And all the rest of the room was very dark.
Okay,
That's it. Yeah.
that's interesting. Um, and then you mentioned how the ship. Uh, you said even I guess some of the I don't remember what you said, but I guess like some of the instruments or the furniture would look like it was part of the ship also.
Yeah. Yeah.
The gentleman that I was speaking to who
Yeah.
was abducted, he told me the same thing that it looked like everything was made out of one big mold.
Yeah.
That there weren't any seams or any kind of nuts or bolts or rivets. It said that
No.
everything looked like it was just one whole solid piece.
Yeah. Like if it was, like you do these 3D printers kind of
Mhm.
things, like kind of made like this, you know, like weird.
You have another question on the screen.
Do you have any idea what the being who saved you name was? Yes, yes.
And like I told you in the beginning, if you don't want to give out that kind of information, you don't have to. But if you know his name and you want to give it out,
Yes, yes. He told me his name, and I kept contact with him, and I still have contact with him until now, and very regular contacts, either by telepathy, either by direct contact sometimes, which is rarely happening, but it happens sometimes. He gave me a lot of information because after the quantum hypnosis session, uh, the channel was open and everything reopened, and it was time I knew everything about it, and he reconnected properly with me, and so there are many regular contacts now by telepathy because of thanks to the implant, or um, encounters, um, um, but uh, he's been giving me a lot of information, and that's why I was advised to write everything in a book, which I did. Um, yes, so that's replying the question. Yeah.
there's another question for you.
Um, does the name Riker mean anything to you? No. No, 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 no.
They said he does rescues as well, right? Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
no.
So, and I know you didn't want to say the name of the person in Ohio, and that's that's very good too.
Yeah,
Uh, but you said that you were kind of scared or afraid to look him up, so you haven't looked him up at all, then.
I have looked him up.
Oh,
I mean,
but you haven't contacted him.
uh, I know who this person is. But I'm too scared.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
you know,
So, what are you scared of, if you don't mind?
I don't know. I know I'm protected. I know I have an amazing, wonderful protector.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't know. You see all these kind of movies. Maybe I'm a bit shy, or I don't know.
Maybe a little paranoid, but
I
I
just
mean, nobody can blame you. I
I
mean,
just don't want the Men in Black at my door.
Oh,
Or
okay,
have a
yeah,
car accident or something. I
yeah.
don't know.
There you go.
No, I think I'm just, yeah, maybe I should do it. I don't know. Because it's so, I mean, it's crazy, right?
Right.
Um, I have the name of a real person um, who works at Wright Patterson, but I can't worked. He's not there anymore. Um, I mean, that's crazy. And that name has been given to me by an alien woman. I mean, how crazy is that? It's like it's crazy.
Mhm.
So yeah, I suppose I'm a bit shy to do that. Contact this person. Maybe I should, but I don't know.
And somebody else asked, "Was there gravity? Were you floating?"
No, when I was taken. Oh, so when I was taken in the beam, I was like lifted up, floating. But in the two ships, yes, there was gravity in the
Okay.
two ships. Yes.
Okay. And that's and the gentleman that I spoke with also, he was talking that there was gravity, but that he couldn't feel the ship turning and moving or maneuvering. He said,
No,
yeah. He said you couldn't feel any of that. Like
no, no.
like you could like in an elevator or like even like on an airplane. You know, he said, yeah,
Oh no, no, no. Yeah, and when the ship of the Nordic aliens, I mean, um, I could see when they took me back the orb of the Earth coming up in the window, but I couldn't feel anything.
hmm
No, no movement. It was very stable.
What was their ship like? Was it very similar to the other ship, or was it?
I never saw the ship from the outside, so I cannot tell.
Okay, okay. Um, and when you said that they came in and they were shooting, was it like bullets or was it lasers or what?
Lasers.
Really? Okay. Hmm.
Well, I don't know if it was lasers, but it was beams of light,
Okay.
like lasers. Yeah,
Okay. That's
and
interesting.
yeah, it was pink. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay, well, we can continue with your story if you would like. That's like I said, I'm writing stuff down as you're asking, and of course, we got people in the chat asking questions, very good questions also. So thank you guys for that. Someone said lasers or plasma. I don't know what the difference is.
I
Yeah.
don't know either. And
So yeah.
yeah.
Someone did ask. Here's one question, and
So the grays are bad. No, not all. There are bad grays, but there are good as well. Um, there are so many races of gray, so many, and they're all involved in different agendas. And those involved with Earth, there are good ones and bad ones. I had the occasion to meet both. This incredible abduction when I was 9, it was small grays. I think they were from Zeta Reticuli. They are really nasty. They're working for genetic harvest. These ones, so they're not good. But there are others which are amazing and wonderful. When I was a little baby, those who took me, and now I can tell about that because that's very important. People know that they are not all bad. um, what came up by hypnosis about this first abduction when I was a baby, a toddler. I found myself aboard a ship which was a bit fresh and cold, but not as much as the other one. Um, and it was fresh, and there were small grays, smaller than the Zeta one, the one who took me when I was 9. These ones were smaller, and they were so nice. Um, Nearly, I could say cute, but I know um, they were cute regarding comparing to the other ones. They were very gentle, very caring. They had slow moves, and they were carrying me, and they put me on this table, which was different. Um, it wasn't metallic. It was kind of I don't know, plastic, or I don't know, something not metal, a bit smooth. And they were caring, very caring. And one, I was a bit scared, and one, I wasn't paralyzed. I wasn't paralyzed. One, he took a kind of a oblong object, and was a red light at the end, and he put the red light on my chest, and that calmed me. I saw my chest glowing red, and I felt so calm suddenly, very calm. And then they stepped back. I wasn't tired. I wasn't nothing. And came a tall one, and he he looked like a classic tall gray, but his skin was actually clear brown, and he had indigo eyes, um, big large skull, thin limbs like classic tall gray. And he came, and he was so gentle, and I could feel love emanating from him, lots of love and caring. And he was just very gently lifting an arm and the other, turning my head. He was checking me up, see if I was healthy and all right. And he didn't speak to me, but I could feel love coming from him, and like family. I don't know.
okay.
And then I was brought back. So that's, I think that's the ones who look after me, and my family, probably
Okay.
my bloodline,
Okay.
because it. So that's it.
Somebody else asked, "Did you see the Blue Doctors?" I guess you're talking about the Nordic. I don't. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Did you see the Blue Doctors?
No, no, I didn't. No, I didn't see Blue Doctors. No.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Where did we leave off at? I guess we left off at what part were we at in your story? uh, or yeah, just continue. Do you remember where you were at when we started asking questions?
Yeah. That I kept contact with this my rescuer. So yes, this crew in the ship that rescued me, the one whom I called my rescuer is from the Pleiades, and the two other persons were on board. The woman, she's from Sirius B, and the other guy is from Epsilon Eridani. They are different species working together, and they rescue people a lot. Um, so that's something I can say. They showed me this map of the sky. I, I wrote a book about it, and I put the map in it, and so yes, it's a bit. I don't know what
Okay.
to say.
So this your rescuers they're actually part of like of like multiple races, or I guess you could call it maybe like
Yeah.
a federation, right?
Yes, it's many races working together.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what do you know what their goal is, or what their purpose is besides rescuing people? I mean, I guess that's part of it, right? Or
Yes, they are helping. They are helping us, humanity, to evolve and to survive to the next step of our evolution, because there are a lot of there are alliances of bad races. Now, I think I can speak about the serious stuff, because that's my abduction in a way, but then that's all the knowledge I gained from them, who told me stuff that, well, there are many alliances made with malevolent extraterrestrials. Well, malevolent regarding to us, alliance with governments, and they use a lot of people. They abduct a lot of people for different agendas, and this benevolent federation of aliens, good aliens, are trying to help us and to save us, n- not directly, because they have rules not to really interfere in the development of a species, but they work behind the curtain, if you want, behind the scenes. So they do the work that we don't see, avoiding us many catastrophes. And there are these alliances of some governments with extraterrestrials that are not working for the greater good of humanity. They are working for the greater good of a small elite, and people. There are about a million a million people abducted each year. Um, some are not all kept in the ships. A lot go in underground bases on Earth. Um, what are the purposes? Hybridization program, um, slave trade, and genetic experiments, and food.
oh, really? Okay.
Mm. So, so these benevolent aliens, they just helping us getting rid of that and getting out of it, and they are doing all many different jobs. And the ones who rescued me, their job is just to try to rescue people as much as they can. They are doing that a lot, and yeah, and I kept contact. That's how I know these things, because I have these psychic abilities and I have this implant, um, and I have these shamanic abilities. I am a shaman. I can travel by consciousness, connect with different realms of density. My mother line does that since the Norse. We come from the Baltic Sea, and it's a line of shaman women, and I can do that easily. So the contact is easy for me. Uh, was easy to keep with them, and as well with this implant. It's I feel it when it activates. Um, I feel a tickling, and I hear a click,
Mhm.
like when you plug a microphone. This
Okay.
kind of click
Okay.
sound makes a weird stuff, and then I can hear voices.
Okay.
and see visions. If I close my eyes, sometimes I have visions.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, that's how I kept contact, and I know all these things.
Okay. So are you yourself able to initiate the contact, or they're the only ones that can initiate
No,
contact?
I've learned how to do it myself.
Okay.
Um, by an energy work, by um, um, energizing my energy, my energy field, and trying to increase it stronger, and then bringing all my energy the most as I can to the implant, to this area. And if I really do it very strong and energize it in the most energy as possible, sometimes happens that it clicks.
Mm.
And if when I do that, I think about someone I would like to connect with, and sometimes it works. This person just connects. Um, that's how it works, and it reacts by as well emotional impulse. If, for instance, I have a strong emotion like super fright, surprised by fright, suddenly it clicks
Okay.
because they're always watching me, So if I have a super fright, it activates it, for instance, or I'm super upset or something's wrong, you
Mhm.
know.
Okay. That's nice. Um, so what about the uh, we talked about your own psychic abilities,
Yeah.
and uh, so this implant, it was able to enhance those as far as you're communicating with. I don't know what you want to call them, the Nordic, or can you communicate with any of them?
Um, the good aliens would
Yeah.
say, because I can't say the Pleiadians because the only one of them that I know is from there. So
Mhm.
they are good it is, I say, good it is, my friends.
Okay. Your friends.
Uh,
Um,
um, yet what was the question? Sorry.
no, no, that's I was asking that if you can only communicate with them, or like one person in particular, or can you communicate with the other good ones also?
Only those who were in that ship,
Okay.
and the tall gray as well. The
Okay.
tall gray who was, you know.
So right now, it seems like the whole world is just has gone crazy. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
especially here in the states. Um, and when stuff like this happens, you hear more UFO activity, more alien encounters. Does that correlate with what's going on, or is this just something that happens to be going on? Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I think it's linked because, well, there's a factor as well. Is that now there's always been UFOs, but now we all have mobile phones and we can film and take photos
Right.
and put it online. So the information suddenly we see it, we share it.
Mhm.
And like we said 20 years ago, we 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 couldn't do that.
Right.
Just filming a UFO live on the internet and all the world see it. You couldn't do it before.
Right.
So that's this factor. And then, yes, it's linked because we have reached a tipping point in our history where we are extracting ourselves from an old paradigm, an old matrix, which was in a certain density, and that's the natural evolution of everyone. Every species comes a time when you step uh, higher, you step another step in your evolution, and we are there, and we are switching into this higher density, this new paradigm of in our evolution. The old, every time you change something, the old paradigm is fighting, so it's going to interfere. That's one natural process. Now, added to that, You have all these extraterrestrials which are malevolent, which are allied with some of our governments, who are doing all this traffic and these abductions and these ugly things. Um, that's this, and the good ETs, they are kicking them out. They are, now that it's time, it's the moment we grow up and we change, we let go of this old paradigm. That's the moment we get rid as well of these things, of them, these nasty ones. So the good it is, they are here, and there's a war going on, and they are helping us. They are kicking the baddies out, and so that's why we see all these things happening everywhere. They, I've asked my friend, do you think that there would be global? You would show yourselves to us finally. They say no, we not yet, unfortunately, because um, he said to me that we are not totally ready for that. That would cause tremendous panic. We need first to learn. I know people don't like to hear that, but we need first to learn to stop conflict, to stop fighting each other. Uh, we need. He said to me all the time, we need to unite and see ourselves as one species, not many different races fighting each other. That has to stop. As long as we'll do that, we'll be like kids in the playground. We need to grow up and unite as an entity, a species, keeping everyone our individualities, but together, one
Right.
planet, one species, he
Right.
says always. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I don't. That's one of the things that I guess bothers me about the human race is that we're so conflicted about every minor detail. You know, just like, is it really worth fighting for? These little details that to me don't matter, but we just want to fight all the time and argue and have conflict, and that
Yes.
really bothers me as far as if we're going to move to that next level uh, or not. And you were saying that they're not allowed to interfere. Are they allowed to kind of keep us on the right track, or they just
Yes, yes, that's what they do. They're not allowed to interfere openly.
okay?
Well, they were trying not to interfere. Normally, they should not, but that's a particular case where we are really threatened by harmful extraterrestrial species. So that's an exception where they're kind of allowed to do something, but not openly, because it would interfere in our development. It's like a child. You cannot learn for your child. The child has to learn by himself. What you can do is hold his hand and keep danger at bay, and make sure he's going to be okay at school, and that he's going to have a good scholarship. That's what they do. You cannot learn for him.
Right.
He needs to make his own mistakes and learn that we are the child and they are holding our hands. That's what's happening. um and I don't know what I want to say. Yes.
I do that. I do that all the time. I'm talking about one thing, and my mind's going different directions.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
that's a good analogy. That we're we're children, and they have to allow us to kind of learn how to walk on our own. We're gonna fall down and scrape our knee, but we got to learn to get back up and keep going. I guess.
yes,
Uh,
yes. And there's something as well recently that's happening, is that they they've given by the past too many. So they tried once, to a few times actually, to contact leaders, government leaders, to tell them, well, listen, we can help you. We can help you stop your conflict, um, disarm your weapons and stuff like that. And something actually happened in 1954. They met President Eisenhower, and they told him that. And at the same time, there was an alliance of Greys and reptilians who said, "Oh, but don't listen to them. We can make your power stronger in exchange of you give us a little bit of humans that we can do experiment with." The choice was very quick. Uh, Peace, power, power won.
Hmm.
So they try to do the good 80s. They try to many times to tell to see with our leaders who to help. Never worked really. So then they try technicians to pass knowledge to them, like knowledge that could help humanity. Medicine has advanced a lot, but when it came to the knowledge of um, something like free energy, every time the scientist or the technician was either killed, the material confiscated, it wasn't working that well. So now, new step, they are, that I know, they are downloading information and channeling information to people, the most people as they can, about scientific knowledge, energy. The thing is, we need to free ourselves from all the oil industry, oil companies, banking system, everything that it's the same people, the same elite that just tie us down. Free energy is free and available everywhere. It's in the air. It's the universal life force that we know how to channel it. We know how to power the planet for free for everyone. But this elite of oil companies and banking system, they don't want that because they wouldn't make any profit anymore. So they are just trying to not to have this free energy. But that's our future. That's the future is made of this. That's how we will be. We will have this free energy. We will. That's our next step. So it's just a question of time. It's not a question of if. It's a question of when. And now you'll see what I say. More and more people will come up with machine inventions. You cannot. You won't be able. They won't be able to stop it.
Right.
The future is already here, and they are hopeful, and I am hopeful because they are. So
Yeah, and I've heard that too. That about the free
yeah.
energy. And yeah, you're right. I think the oil companies and the bank companies, these big corporations, it's not in their best interest, for that to be out. It's not.
Oh no, no,
It's their best interest to keep us where we're at. To keep us
yeah,
dependent
yeah.
on stuff.
Enslaved. They want to chip the whole humanity to make of us zombies and control the chips controlled by satellites. Um, well, no, that we need to say no and keep. We own our body, and what is very important to know is that we have more power than we think that we are told we have. We are very powerful. We are using only 20% of our capacities. I think we we have more abilities. The power of the mind. We have the power to manifest whatever we want by focusing on a thought. Premonition
Hmm.
are just memories from the future. If you can create a certainty, a positive image, and really believe in it, you project it into the future, and its resonance. It's quantum. It's resonance. You create a point in the present, and you project it in the future, and you create it in the future. We have this power of manifesting by the power of the mind, and we are conditioned from school that that's just crazy stuff. No, that's who we are. And to come back to my abductions when I was a baby, a toddler, that's what these goodities do as well. They activate our DNA, that we grow faster and we can develop faster our abilities. We need to believe in us. We need to believe in our abilities. We are a great species, and we are not, and we are made believe we are slaves. We need to do this, that. No, we need to wake up and embrace who we truly are. We are
Right.
very powerful.
Yeah. And when we talk about the banking and the oil, the media is also run by the same people also. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
and that's a big. I think the media is a really powerful force, and we need to get away from that also. Uh,
Yeah,
but also,
yeah.
you have a question up on the screen also.
Question: Do you think dark matter is a threat to their existence as well? Do you sense they fear dark matter? I don't know.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, we've already passed up our hour. My shows are usually an hour long, and man, I love talking to you. I think we can talk more and more. If you wouldn't mind coming back on, maybe we can reschedule something else.
Yeah, why
Um,
not? Why not? Why
okay,
not? Why not? So
okay. But you've been a great guest. I absolutely love all the stuff that you have to say. And uh, but before we go, do you have any kind of contact information you want to promote your book? If
yeah.
people,
So oh, I want to tell something as well before I speak about my book quickly. Um, it took me a lot of courage to talk. Um, and I encourage, it's not, in fact, it's not that difficult. I encourage anyone who has been through the same thing as I have been to talk, to speak, because we 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 must not wait for disclosure, because we are the disclosure. Everyone who has had contacts, who was abducted, we are the disclosure. And if we all speak by YouTube, writing books, anything, articles, the truth comes out. And that needs to come out. And please speak out, speak out. That's it. So I wrote a book about my experience. This is it. It's called A Gift from the Stars, um, Extraterrestrial Contacts and Guide of Alien Races. As an artist, I illustrated it. So the first part is about my abduction, my abductions. So um, for instance, I need to find a good picture. Um, Here we go. So the story I was telling you.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
And that's the drawing as all my story of my abductions, and then a guide of a repertoire of alien races, um, with drawings as well.
Is this
As
your
I
art?
It's my art,
Oh man, you're really good. You're really talented. Oh, okay,
as they've been shown to me,
okay, okay.
and messages of hope at the end, that have been given, and information disclosure, maps of the stars, and stuff like that.
How can someone find your book?
So my book is available on Amazon.
Okay,
You check out Elena Danan, A Gift from the Stars. That's how it looks like. And Barnes and Nobles.
okay,
Barnes and Noble. That's it.
okay.
And so people, if you want to ask me questions, or you can find me on Facebook. And I have a page which I called Pleiadian Contact, and I regularly do channelings on this page, so that's interesting too.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm going to check it out. But thank you so much for joining. It's been my honor having you on. Your like I said, your story is very very fascinating, and
Thank you for giving me a voice, and I hope it will motivate many people to speak out as well.
yes, anyone out there, you have this kind of experience, and you're kind of you don't know where to turn to. I mean, you can turn to me. I'll put you in touch with her, and we'll. I think it helps just to talk about it, and it helps other people when they hear other people's stories, like like your story. Hopefully, you can touch someone and have them reach out and talk about what they've experienced.
Yeah, and everyone's story can help someone.
Right.
So to feel better, to feel supported. So it's important to speak.
Okay. All right, everyone. Well, we thank everyone for joining. Everyone in the chat room, you guys have been great. You've had some great answers. I mean, some great questions, some great comments. I really appreciate all the everyone in there and your participation. That means a lot. But we're going to go ahead and end the show today. And thank you very much, everyone. And thank you to Elena. And hold on real quick.
Thank you. Thank you.